Over the voters, both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, who lead their respective parties in the primary voting, have very high unfavorable ratings, according to all the polls. Mrs. Clinton in the mid-50s, Mr. Trump in the mid-60s. So, how will the candidates turn that around? Joining us now from his New York City headquarters is Mr. Trump. So, if you do secure the nomination, then you have to win over about 63 million Americans to vote for you in order to get the presidency. Are you going to change your political style?
Well, it's possible it'll change a little bit, Bill. You know, we started off with 17 people, 16 of which were, shooting at me, and they're almost all gone right now. And, when you're hit by 16 different people that are accomplished people, senators and governors and, very, very smart people like Ben Carson, who endorsed me, by the way, a great guy. And, they're all going after you. You probably don't come off looking so good because you come after them much harder than they went after you. So I think so. Ronald Reagan had very, very high unfavorables, and his favorable rating was at 30, and Jimmy Carter was, I think, 19 points or 20 points ahead of him, and he ended up winning by 6 points. So I think it's going to be very similar.
Right,
I think once we get going and can focus on Hillary.
I think
we're going to do great.
You know from reading Killing Reagan that he and you were not in the same universe as far as personality is concerned. Ronald Reagan was probably the least confrontational guy in the country, and you're a very confrontational guy. So what I'm trying to get at is this. Nobody knows what's going to happen at the convention in Cleveland. It's going to be a mess. It's just going to be a mess. But if you do get the nomination, then your supporters are used to you. Donald Trump, the confrontational guy, takes no guff from anybody. In order to get those unfavorable down, you're going to have to be the softer, kinder Trump. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can.
Well, I think I am a softer kind of person, if you want to know the truth, Bill. Again, I've been, this has been a very strong competition. Jeb Bush was supposed to win, and I hit him hard, and I won. And, Walker was supposed to win. They were all supposed to win, and they're all gone. And, to be honest, I think I will get along with people, and I think I'll be a unifier, including for the party. And we hope to get there sometime prior to the convention so that the convention can actually be a unification project.
That would be the whole, but it's going to be very difficult to do that.
Well, the Republicans need that. Well, I'm leaving right now, Bill. I'm leaving for Albany right after this, and we have 20,000 people in Albany. Yesterday, we had 17,000 people
I think you'll
in
win
Rochester, New York. And
I think you'll win New York pretty handily.
Well.
But then you got to go out west again. It's a tougher territory for you out there. Now, the minority. Let's talk about the minorities. I defended you against Tavis Smiley last week, and I did it because I know you better than Tavis Smiley knows you. I don't even know if you know him.
He doesn't know me at all.
All right, okay.
But Smiley I never met him.
Smiley brought in the fact that you were this racial arsonist. That's what he used. And I said, hey, look, I known the guy for 30 years, and I've never seen any of that, and you got to give me an example. And he really couldn't. But that's the perception in the African-American precincts, that you're a racial guy, you don't like them. Is there a strategy that you have or your staff has to negate that?
Well, I don't think it is the perception, actually, Bill. I have tremendous numbers of African Americans that work for me. I'm going to bring jobs back to the country. I don't think it's the perception at all. I just don't. I think we're going to do fantastic with African Americans
what's your message
and
to
with
them,
Hispanics.
What's your message to African Americans?
My message is I'm going to bring jobs back, Bill. My message is I'm bringing jobs back to the country, and they're going to have jobs because right now we don't have jobs. China has the jobs. Mexico has the jobs. Japan has the jobs. Everybody has the jobs. We don't have the jobs. The jobs have been taken out of the United States like we're a bunch of babies.
Okay,
like
so it's an economic play.
Baby.
But what about the grievance industry run by your friend Al Sharpton, where, not only do you have to bring prosperity to all Americans, not just blacks, but we owe them. We owe the African Americans because of the historical atrocities that they've had to live through, their families, their ancestors. Well, how are you going to deal with that?
Well, I think we're going to do fine. Again, I think that...
But what are you going to tell them when that comes up?
And you're going to start to see it. I'm telling you, it's an economic message. If you look at President Obama, he's been a president for almost 8 years. It will be 8 years. You have with black youth, with African-American youth, you have a 59% unemployment. With people of prime age, it's much higher.
But how are you going to get jobs for them? Many of them are ill-educated and have tattoos on their foreheads. And how are you going to... And I hate to be generalized about it, but it's true. If you look at all the educational statistics, how are you going to give jobs to people who aren't qualified for jobs?
We're going to bring jobs back. We're going to have Apple computers made in this country, not just. We're
But
going
you
to
have to have skills to make Apple computers. Yeah, and the educational systems. What?
We will get the skills and we'll develop the skills. We have an incredible population and they don't have the jobs. Our good jobs are going to China. They're going to Mexico every day.
But it's more challenging.
Well, wait a minute. Carrier and Nabisco and Ford and every company you can name, they're building in Mexico. They're not here.
Because
we have politicians that don't know what they're doing.
But it's more challenging in the African-American industry. Look, when we drive up to Yankee Stadium, we go through Harlem, all right? It's more challenging for a poor child in Harlem without parental guidance in a school that's fallen apart than it is for some white kid out in Garden City. All right? And you say you can bring jobs back, but how, if the kid isn't qualified to do the job and can't do the work, I mean, you got to get into the infrastructure of the African American community. Do you have any plan to do that?
Well, it is true, and it's about education, but it's also about spirit. A lot of people don't have spirit, not only African Americans. They don't have spirit in our country. I mean, I can tell you plenty of white people that go to college, they borrow a lot of money, they get out, they can't get a job. The single biggest question I get are from young kids that are in colleges, because I see them all over, and they want to talk to me. And I say, what is it? And I say, before you even talk, I'll tell you, you borrowed up to the hilt, and now you've graduated, you've done well in college, you can't get a job. They said, Mr. Trump, how did you know? It's a real problem that we have in this country. We don't have jobs anymore. Our manufacturing is going to be gone if we keep it up. I mean, look at the numbers. Look at the recent numbers of manufacturing in the United States. It's going to be gone.
No, it's all going to the service and high tech. Okay. All right, I'm going to hold you over.
We don't have spirit in this country.
I want you to react to the media. You know what happened to the Boston Globe. We'll discuss that, and we appreciate you coming on. And later, America's teachers under siege from out-of-control students. Jesse Waters with a special investigation upcoming. Donald Trump was in Manhattan this evening. So the Boston Globe did a lampoon yesterday on what it might look like to cover you as president. It was pretty nasty. Are you used to this stuff yet? Are you getting numb to this?
Well, I've become numb. If you're a conservative, a Republican, the press is just brutal. I mean, it is brutal. And here's a paper that, by the way, sold for $1. It's worthless. It's a worthless paper. And they did, I don't know if it was an April Fool or what, but they did this edition where everything's about Trump. And, I mean, what kind of stuff is that? Hey, look, we need borders. Everything they said there is practically the opposite. We need jobs. We need somebody that knows what he's doing on trade, and nobody can do what I can do. I will make our bad trade deals so good, so fast. We're going to renegotiate those deals. But they talk about that. They talk about the wall. We need the wall. Drugs are pouring into our country. We have incredible people on that border, the Border Patrol. They've endorsed me, by the way. 16,500 people just endorsed me. They've never endorsed a presidential candidate before. First time, and they just endorsed me. We've got to stop what's happening at the border, and they talk about it like it's some kind of a joke.
Yeah, I mean, they don't believe that you're going to be able. The media in general does not believe you're going to be able to deliver on your promise to have Mexico pay for the wall. They don't believe that, and then they believe that if a trade war starts, if you stop remunerations going back and all of that, that because Mexico's our third largest trade partner, it's going to be chaos economic. That's all speculation. But what isn't speculation?
Bill, one thing I'd like to respond to that, though.
Sure.
If a trade war starts, a trade war is only going to start unless they start treating us properly. They are treating us like a bunch of dummies in the United States. They're taking our jobs. They're taking our money. They're devaluing their currencies. You look at what China's doing with the currency in Japan. They're devaluing their currencies, and they're just killing us.
Okay,
now,
but they don't
I don't
believe
think we're
that
going to have a
you
trade
can
war, but
solve
somebody's
this
got to
problem.
talk to them.
Look, people,
I think I can absolutely
your supporters
solve the
believe
problem.
you can. The media believes you can't. Now, I also had a conversation last week.
I think some of the media believes I can. I think some of the media believes I can. And I can tell you, I absolutely can. Look what they're doing. You look at these countries, Bill, you look at what these countries are doing to us, the way they treat us.
I know that. I'm talking about the media
to anything
now.
that's in these agreements, which are terrible agreements to start off with. I mean, they're terrible agreements.
So, look, your supporters say you believe you can do it. Your detractors say you can. I will
do it. I'll do it for the country.
Talking to Leslie
you know what it's called, Bill? Make America Great Again. Because our country is going to hell. And it's called Make America Great Again.
You got to get those hats hats. You got to get those hats made in America, by the way. Now, I was talking to Leslie Stahl.
They are made in America. Bill, wait. They are made in California.
Okay.
Now, I know this. They're copied all over the place, but they are made in America. Believe me, the first thing I said when I did the hats, I said, you better make sure they're made in America. They're made by, excuse me, Bill, they're made by a company in California, 100%. Now, I know they're copied all over the place, and I can't help that, but my hats are made in America.
Good. Now, I got to ask you this question. It's a tough question, but it's true. I was at the CBS Morning News a few weeks ago, and they collectively, that program, they're appalled that you're leading in the Republican precincts. They think you're a vulgarian, that you're not, you don't have the class to run this country. You know that, the perception in a lot of network places. Does that bother you?
Well, I don't know that's the perception. I went to the Wharton School of Finance. I was a very smart person and student and all of that, and hopefully am. And frankly, CBS morning show with Charlie Rose and all of them, they begged me to go on the show all the time.
Sure, because
in fact,
you deliver
I was on the show like a month ago.
You deliver high
ratings. They begged me to go on the show.
Yeah.
So I don't think the vulgarian is the right word. Perhaps they don't like me. They don't like my policies.
No,
they don't like my stance on trade.
In your face. You know the New York term, in your face? That's what they think.
You know, I'll tell you what. They certainly want me on their show because they beg, okay?
Yeah, because
they beg that
you
I go
bring
on their
high
show.
ratings. Everybody knows you bring high ratings.
Whatever
That's
it is.
why.
I bring a lot of voters also. I mean, I bring a lot of people that want to see our country turn around.
Right, to
when I
see what
mention
you have to
NAFTA
say.
as an example.
But do you...
you look at NAFTA, you look at what happened to our country.
One more
or you look at NATO, the way we're spending... Bill, you look at NATO, the way we're spending so much money, and we're benefiting all these other countries. We're like, Bill, we need a change. We need a change fast, or we're not going to have a country left. Believe me.
I got one more question I have to ask you. Don't you understand, or do you? Maybe I'm wrong, because I don't hang with these people. But the precincts, the elite precincts in the media, you know, and they just don't think that you have the style to run the country. Don't you feel that when you deal with them? Don't you feel that condescension?
No, I don't feel that. I feel that they disagree with my policies because they want to have open borders. They don't mind that people are taking advantage of the country.
So it's a liberal conservative
thing? They don't mind that free trade is stupid trade.
Okay.
No, I think they like my style. I think they really wish they had my style, if you want to know the truth. That's why most of those people, that's why most of those people are dying on television. So I really think that, but they don't like open borders, and they don't like good trade deals because they think it's a bad thing, which is, you know, I look at it differently. I look at America first.
You might be right about
that. Make
that.
America great again.
I just have to ask the questions. And we always appreciate you coming on. I hope you'll, you know, check in with us as much as you can. You're very provocative. There's no doubt about it. Thank you, Donald. Plenty more ahead as the Factor moves along this evening. Do black and white Americans really have a dislike toward each other? Take a hard look at that question off a new program about Jackie Robinson. Then Waters talking to teachers under siege.
Did you ever feel unsafe in the classroom?
All the time. All the time. My desk always sat by the door so that I can escape.
We hope you stay tuned for those reports.